Hello students, in our last class we have studied what are homogeneous and heterogeneous materials. We have also seen what is a molecule, and then we have studied the general properties of solid, liquid and gas. Today we will study the detailed comparison of solid, liquid and gas. So let us start. Till now we have studied these general properties of solids, liquids and gases. Let us compare them. Mass. Solids have definite mass, liquids have definite mass and gases also have definite mass. Mass is always definite. Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Now the shape. Solids have definite shape. Liquids do not have definite shape. They take the shape of the container or the vessel in which they are kept. And gases also take the shape of the container in which the gases are placed. Volume. Volume of solids and liquids are definite, but gases do not have definite volume. Now compressibility. It is not possible to compress solids. In liquids, compressibility is almost negligible. We can compress liquids up to a limit, and gases are highly compressible. Fluidity. That is the property to flow. Solids cannot flow at all. They are fixed. The particles are tightly packed. So, in solids, fluidity is not possible. While liquids and gases can flow and they are called fluids. Rigidity. Solids are highly rigid. Liquids are less rigid. And gases are not rigid at all. Diffusion. Students, I would like to tell you that diffusion we have already done in our earlier classes. If you don't remember, if you are not able to recall, I request you to please go through that video once again and revise what is the concept of diffusion. So diffusion is slow in solids, in liquids diffusion is fast, and in gases diffusion is rapid. The particle arrangement in solids. The particles are closely packed in solids. In liquids, the particles are less closely packed, and in gases, they are least closely packed. Therefore, the intermolecular force in between the particles is strongest in solids since they are closely packed, they are close to each other. In liquid, the interparticle force is weaker as compared to solids, and in gases, the intermolecular force is negligible. This comparison we have been studying till now, but let us take this comparison once again with the more detailed study. Let us take the first property, shape and volume. In solids there is definite shape and definite volume. In liquids there is no definite shape but the volume is fixed. But in gases neither the shape nor the volume is definite. Now the structure of particles. In solids the particles are closely packed, so the position is fixed, they cannot move. While in liquids the particles can get away from each other because they are loosely packed, but they cannot move freely. And in gases the particles are totally independent of each other and they can move far away. Now the number of free surfaces, if we take a solid material, if we take a solid, any solid, a piece of solid, we can make as many surfaces out of that. So there is no limit number of free surfaces. We can make any number of free surfaces from a solid, while in liquid there is only one free surface, and in gases there is no free surface. The intermolecular force between particles is very strong in solid. In solid, the force, the attraction between the particles which is called intermolecular force, is very strong in solid. Therefore, they are fixed in shape and size. In liquids, the force is weaker. Therefore, they can flow. And in gases, this force is negligible. The intermolecular space in solids is less. The particles are tightly packed. There is no space between the particles. The intermolecular space is less. While in liquid, there is some space. Therefore, they can flow. So, the intermolecular space is more in liquids. And in gases, there is much space. There is much space between the particles. Rigidity. Since solids, they have fixed shape because of the packing of particles, so they are highly rigid. In liquids are not that rigid. They can flow. They are fluids. And in gases, there is no rigidity, and they are also fluids. They can flow. Let us take some more properties. The kinetic energy with the constituent particles. Students, you remember I have taught you that kinetic energy is the energy of motion, the energy which is due to motion, which is due to the movement of particles. Since in solids the particles are stable, they are closely packed, tied, the particles cannot move, and if there is no movement, the energy would be less. So there is less kinetic energy in solids. In liquids, the particles can move. More the movement, more the kinetic energy. And in gases, the particles are free to move. Therefore, the kinetic energy is maximum in gases. Now let us talk about density. Density is the togetherness. So, togetherness of the particles. So, high density because of the close packing of particles. Since the particles are closely packed together, close to each other, so the density is high. While in liquids, the density is less as compared to solids. And in gases, the density is very low because there is much space, they are not closely packed. Now, let us take compressibility. Solids are rigid. They cannot get compressed easily. So, the compressibility is almost nil because there is no intermolecular space. They are rigid. In liquids, the compressibility is slightly more. And in gases are highly compressible. The effect of heat. The effect of heat is generally expansion. The particles of solid do not have much space to expand. So they can expand only up to a limit. So they do not expand much. While the liquids can expand more. And in the gas particles have much more expansion on heating. They get expanded. Let us take last property, is called diffusion. In solids, diffusion is extremely slow, and so in liquids diffusion is slightly more, and gases diffuses rapidly. Students, this is it for today. Thank you.